is Naomi and I will be giving a presentation today about the new digital media strategy CareSure will be using and the benefits it will bring. Firstly, I would like to show my respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, of elders past and present on which this event takes place. One of the best things that CareSure has to offer is its diverse range of staff. Having this means we can cater perfectly to the community and serve and understand everyone better. Using digital media will be a perfect, up-to-date way to communicate with each staff member and get to a broad group of people quickly and efficiently. This community strategy will only reinforce the bond between staff, cultures in the community. There is a copy of the PowerPoint slides next to you, so feel free to follow along and read through if that's easier for you. I also have a feedback form to hand to each of you, so please answer the questions and write any feedback that you have for me at the end. Also raise your hand if you have any questions throughout the presentation or at the end. So today I'll be explaining one of the new ways to easily communicate with our staff and community using digital media. Today I'll be using a PowerPoint presentation. Here is an example of a title slide that I'll be using. We needed to find a layout that is best suited to a variety of diverse people. I have used a white background to be clear from any distractions. Using a black font means it has the most amount of contrast from the background, which makes it very easy to read. The font size I used for the heading is 44 point. It is big enough to stand out as a main heading without taking up too much of the page. The subtitle is 32. This is obvious that is a subtitle by being smaller than the heading, but still big enough to clearly read. So the logo is on the top of the page, taking up about 1/3 of it. This is to show off the company name, make it big and clear so everyone becomes familiar with the brand, also easy to read from a distance. The accessibility feature I've created in this slide caters to people with colour blindness. Differentiating between different hues of blue and green can be really distracting and confusing for them, so I've decided to keep it simple, black and white. Here I've compiled the information I described in the previous slide into a template for all of the staff to use in the future PowerPoint presentations. Here we have a content slide. Because there is more text to include on these pages, the font size obviously has to decrease. I've used font Helvetica. This is the most used and most well-known font in the world, so it should be familiar with most people from different cultures. I've used size 16, which I feel is the biggest, clearest font I can use, with still including everything that I need to in the slide. Similar to the previous slide, I've used black font with a white background for the same reasoning. The logo has been placed in the top right corner of each slide to keep the brand as a focus, but not distracting from the contents on each slide. This slide I have used pictures to cater for a few other diverse groups who may be illiterate or from non-English speaking backgrounds. These icons they should be familiar with and therefore understand more about what I'm talking about. In this slide I've used effects to focus on each individual point, one at a time. So it's easy to follow along and easier for the audience to retain. It is important, however, not to go overboard with effects to keep your audience in mind as they can become easily confused and distracted. There will also be a content slide template for each of you to use for your future presentations. Now, CareSure has a strict policy when it comes to taking photos or receiving consent to do so. Here I've put together a table to explain the reasoning behind why this is the case. Privacy being one of those. This means a consent form must be filled out prior to taking any photographs of anyone or distributing the photo. Duty of care. It's an invasion to someone's privacy to be photographed without consent. The person must also give consent if this photo is being used for any purpose, as they may not want other people to see it. So it is our duty of care to inform the person beforehand. And finally, discrimination. This can be discriminating against who we use the photographs or what we're using the photographs for. We have zero tolerance for any sort of discrimination, and this will not be tolerated under any circumstance. The next, I filled out a template due to accessibility issues. I've added in some ways to cater for people who may have concerns. It is important to find out this information before the presentation so that you can cater appropriately for each person. For example, colour blindness, which I've used today in my presentation, not using colours where possible. This will make it easier for them to read. This will be used within the PowerPoint presentation. Hearing impaired people, you've got options of relay services or using pictures in the PowerPoint. These aids will be also used within the presentation. Wheelchair accessibility, we need portable ramps when accessing the building, so this will have to be prior to the presentation that you plan this out. Illiterate, so you can either do filming, recordings and pictures also within the presentation. And visually impaired people, you might be able to help them with phone apps, so they can use phone apps or audio devices. This you'll have to hand out before the presentation as well. Now I have designed for you guys 3 easy steps to follow in regards to creating your own presentations to be given both internally within staff as well as externally to the community. Point 1, when following this workflow, is to design a PowerPoint using the templates provided to you guys today. Number 2, check and have you answered these following questions if they're suitable. So, have I followed the template outline in regards to font and size? Is each slide clear and easy to read? Have I included at least 2 accessibility aids within my presentation? And then 3, third step, show PowerPoint to supervisor and gain approval before going ahead. If everyone uses this same process and templates using digital communication, this can have a great impact for CareSure. Keeping everything in unison will make it easier for the staff and community to understand, and they'll become familiar with the way that we do our presentations. Then in future, hopefully helping us with our key outcomes of celebrating diversity and helping everyone make their mark. Does anyone have any questions?
You have mentioned at the beginning to use font 16 for the content slide. What if we have a lot more content to fit? Shall we decrease the font size or?
In that case, I would probably look at putting the text over a few different slides, that way not decreasing the font. If you look at getting the font too small, it just makes it too difficult to read. So rather have it at a decent size over a few different slides. Any other questions?
Yes, I suggesting that we don't use any animations in the presentation.
You can use animations as long as they're just clear to maybe emphasise a couple of points. I wouldn't use any flying in effects or anything too crazy because that would just probably end up being too distracting for the audience. Anything else?
No.
Thanks for listening.
Thank
you.